with Isaiah.
Yo, what's up, people? This is another
Isaiah production.
Are NBA owners slave owners? Do they have a slave owner mentality? Okay, we've seen it over the history of NBA basketball. All right, these owners, it's like they look at players as like physical objects rather than human beings. Okay, let's look at the time when LeBron James left the Cleveland Cavaliers. What Dan Gilbert wrote on the Cleveland Cavaliers website so that all the fans can see. Okay, and we all know all about the whole Donald Sterling thing. Okay, who is now notoriously probably the worst owner in NBA history. All right, said a lot of racial remarks. We all heard it, people. The 2011-2012 episode of Donald Sterling, that came to an end because the NBA banned him for life. And they don't even really have to be owners, all right? Just rich white guys that have, high power, that have just power in the front office, okay? Like a Phil Jackson. We seen it today. His remarks towards Carmelo Anthony, just treating Carmelo Anthony like he's not even human, okay? At the end of the day, basketball is a game, Phil Jackson, okay? And then you got, members of the coaching staff, coaches like George Karl saying that, Carmelo Anthony, he was, he had a shit personality because he wasn't, fortunate enough to be raised by a dad. He was in a single parent household. You know what I mean? This is something that's not even about basketball, George Karl. All right. So what I'm trying to say is these white guys, these rich white guys that are on these basketball teams, they treat players like objects rather than human beings, not just owners. But in this specific case, let's talk about owners. All right. Now, just recently, we all know James Dolan kicked out Charles Oakley. We already know this. OK, for reasons, really, people really don't know what the reason is. All right. Now, after this happened, a flurry of NBA players came to Charles Oakley's defense. You got guys like LeBron James, putting up on Twitter, Oakley for president. And then you had Draymond Green, which is what this video is about, calling James Dolan a slave master. All right. He basically said, quote unquote, that James Dolan has a slave master's mentality. Anytime you could just throw somebody out, all right, for not really even being a disturbance, just because you have a difference of opinion than them, means that you don't see them as human beings, in my opinion. All right, seriously, especially if they're not doing anything to, to really cause a disturbance. In my opinion, what happened was, this is what happened in my opinion, all right? He just sat down and they kicked him out. He has some negative things to say about the Knicks, prior to him attending that game in which he got kicked out. And I guess James Dolan just didn't like it, asked the security to kick him out. Now, we all know Draymond is outspoken. He's an outspoken person. He speaks his mind, all right? He almost is like a KG type of player. I always said that Draymond Green reminds me of KG. He is very, very outspoken and vocal on the court, okay? It is only fitting that he would say something like this. I agree with him, okay? And I'm not even trying to say James Dolan is racist. What I'm trying to say is he doesn't look at players like white or black. He doesn't look at players as people, all right? These owners don't. A lot of them don't, man, okay? We've seen it from the examples that I've said to you guys in the beginning of the video, all right? Remember when LeBron James left, Dan Gilbert, disowned him, criticized him. You know what I'm saying? And he was just done with him. Do you see what I'm saying? This whole Phil Jackson thing, even though Phil Jackson's not an owner, he's still a member of the front office with a lot of power. All right, just criticizing Carmelo Anthony like he's not even a human being, just coming at his character. All right. So I'm not saying that James Dolan is racist. That's not what I'm trying to say. Okay, because last time I checked, James Dolan, he hires a lot of black people. There's a lot of black people in the Knicks front office. Okay, just a lot of black people working for him. Do you see what I'm saying? And I remember Stephen A. Smith, he brung up a good point about James Dolan. I know a lot of people say Stephen A. Smith is a coon and whatnot and all this other stuff, but I mean, he had a good point. What I'm about to say. He basically said that, previous years when James Dolan was the owner of the Knicks, there was a player who had like a issue with a family member. What James Dolan did was order a private jet like after every single practice so he can visit, you know, whoever the family member was or whatever like that. One of them was like sick or something like that. And James Dolan, you know, he allowed that player to go and see, you know, whoever was sick, you know, go visit him every single practice. So, you know, that's, you know, I don't think that's racist to me. You know what I mean? So I'm not trying to say he's racist. What I'm trying to say is a lot of these members of the front office and these owners, they look at players as like, you know, they devalue players. But let me know what you guys think down below. Does Draymond Green have a point? Do I have a point? Let me know your thoughts down below. Do you think James Dolan is racist? Also, before we leave, alluding to something that you guys probably didn't know, I am an aspiring future filmmaker. I will be releasing my debut indie film in about a month from now via YouTube. Broken Cycle is the name of my first directed upcoming 30-minute indie film. It is about an African-American adolescent that is indulged in the street life, but later gets a change of heart when confronted with an unexpected event that will change his ways forever. So once again, the title of my directed indie film will be called Broken Cycle, and I will be releasing it via this channel. I will encourage you guys to view it when released. Peace.